The 2025 USL Jägermeister Cup begins today here at First Horizon Stadium at Wake Med Soccer Park. And what a way to kick things off than with an in-state derby between North Carolina FC and the Charlotte Independents here on ESPN+. This is match week 1 and the second year of this tournament, and all 38 teams from the USL Championship and League One will compete. A significant milestone for U.S. soccer with this Interleague Cup. The teams have been split into 6 groups, and this is Group 5, the Mid-Atlantic region, which contains teams from Kentucky, Virginia, and North Carolina, as the winner of this group stage will advance to the knockout rounds in August. Thanks for joining us here in Cary, North Carolina. I'm Brian Ware, along with the brilliant John Bouyer. Welcome back, John. It's great to have you here. And what a derby to start things off here in the Jägermeister Cup.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's always great to be back here. I was just telling you off camera that this is my favorite place that I've ever been able to come and call a game. And we got a great one tonight, Brian.
It's a great match that we have set up for you. And being a former goalkeeper, when the head coach called you in and said you were getting the start, you were over the moon. And tonight, John Bradford has done that. Trevor Mulqueen is getting the start in goal for North Carolina FC, John. He's been an amazing story.
Yeah, he certainly has. Of course, his first start since 2023. And sometimes goalkeepers can really change games. And so, Trevor Mulqueen, this is your night. You get a chance to show the coach what you're really made of. It's going to be a big night for him.
North Carolina started Akira Fitzgerald in the Open Cup, but they'll have to contend with a strong striker for the Charlotte Independents, Christian Cheney. He did really well in Madison. Now he's looking to do the same thing with the Independents.
Yeah, 23 goals in Madison, coming back to the Independents, and just a talented forward, a big target up front. He's going to have to be effective tonight.
He's going to have to be effective if the Independents want to pull off an upset here in match week 1. Getting the start, one of the best players for North Carolina, Mikey Maldonado. He's had 3 assists this season, a big guy on set pieces. We'll have lineups and the kickoff next on ESPN+.
Hey, grab me one too.
Healthy and fast. But at Alpaca, you'll find both. From our all-natural charcoal-fired chicken, cooked using Peruvian spices, to our made-to-order dishes like arroz chaufa. With sausage, chicken, or completely vegetarian, we have something for every diet. So take a break today. Come in or find us online for catering or to place a pickup order. Family-owned and local. Make it a Peruvian night. Make it Alpaca.
With a family like that to take care of, the two of you have your hands full. At WakeMed Urgent Care, we're everywhere you are, so getting the care they need when they need it couldn't be more convenient. Soccer star? Easy. Kids? Covered. The twins? Done. Aches and pains? Virtual urgent care to the rescue. So download the WakeMed All Access app today and take care of everyone in the family, including the two of you.
Jägermeister is proud to be the presenting sponsor of the USL Jägermeister Cup. Take a shot at glory and celebrate the magic of this exciting tournament all year long. Please drink responsibly. We're getting ready for match week 1 of the 2025 USL Jägermeister Cup between North Carolina FC and the Charlotte Independents. North Carolina coming off a tough loss last weekend. And John Bradford has made a multitude of changes, 8 to be exact, as we get a look at their starting 11.
Yeah, he certainly has. And with tournaments like this, you get an opportunity to maybe put some players in the game that don't normally get a lot of playing time. And I'll tell you what, this is a strong lineup for Carolina tonight.
Yeah, they have a great bit of depth. Obviously, Mikey Maldonado, one of the stars. Olex Anderson, the all-time leading goal scorer with 38 career goals for North Carolina FC. But I love the attacking midfielders of Adam Luckhurst and Pedro Dolabella, who could potentially do some damage. Charlotte, meanwhile, got a big win in USL League One play. They keep the lineup mostly the same, except for a couple of changes.
Well, and they have revenge on their mind as well, of course. He said, you know, a big attacking forward up front with Christian Chaney. And, of course, Matt Levy's going to have to be on his game tonight against Carolina.
Yeah, and in the Open Cup game, Luis Alvarez was a pesky attacking midfielder, trying to draw fouls, trying to win the ball back. And they're going to have a big task ahead of him as you get a look at Mike Jeffries, the head coach for the Independents, in his 11th season. He has been the guy who has led Charlotte Independence since all the way in 2015 when the club first formed. And for North Carolina, John Bradford, the head coach, in his 5th year as the lead man. These two teams met 538 days ago in the 2023 USL League One final. A title that was won by North Carolina FC in penalties for their first trophy in club history and the star above their crest. 10 days ago, North Carolina and Charlotte met in the Open Cup, and it was North Carolina that was the victor there. And Mark Verso, our referee, gets us ready for the Dogwood Derby and the start of the Jägermeister Cup. This is a break from the league campaign for both of these teams. After the results last weekend, North Carolina has played 7 USL Championship games, 2 wins, 2 draws, 3 losses. They're currently sitting 5th in the Eastern Conference. Meanwhile, for the Charlotte Independents, they got a big win. They have played 5 games in their USL League One campaign, also have 8 points, and are also 5th out of the 14 teams in USL League One. And goalkeeper Matt Levy has been the Independence's #1 for this season. Good clearance by Malou as Dolabella tries to put in a spot for Olex Anderson. Trying to keep it alive, but there is Nick Spielman ready to take it away. This, as we said, these teams played each other 10 days ago. It was a 3-1 win for North Carolina, and all the goals were scored in the second half of that matchup. Charlotte actually scored first after Olex Anderson was knocking on the door in the early stages of that second frame, but the Independents scored first. And then after John Bradford made 3 significant changes, the offense kicked into high gear, scoring 3 goals in 6 minutes.
Well, and Anderson is always dangerous. He just needs a little bit of time and a little bit of space, and Spielman is going to have his hands full tonight with Anderson.
The Spielman is someone that has been up to the task. He is one of the veterans on this Charlotte side. Here is Perez. Switches it back to Bryce Washington. Connor Donovan, number 20 in blue, coming back to North Carolina FC after spending a few seasons with Sacramento. And here is one of the new signings, Patrick Berner, with a foul into the back of Sorensen.
And I think sometimes you just have to be patient on the ball. If something's going to open up, keep that ball playing on the ground. They try to play a long ball over the top to Berner. Great defense work there.
And it looks like Charlotte is matching North Carolina versus formation. 3 at the back with Nga playing the left wing back, Sorensen, number 13, in their cream-colored jerseys, playing this right wing back. And that was something that North Carolina did. They were able to possess the ball pretty well against the Independents, 63-37 in terms of the possession battle. And they outshot Charlotte 15-7.
Here you see high pressure from Charlotte, just trying to win that ball, and they did a good job of winning it right there from the midfield.
Yeah, Sis in the right spot to get the ball back for the Independents, and it now comes back to Romero. Over to Spielman. Dimmick to Rafael Jauregui. Another signing from the Sacramento area. As Romero gets by Dolabella. Trying to chip it to Cheney. Flag goes up immediately for offsides against the center forward for the Independents.
Well, and great work there, though. You saw Cheney just lay on the back of that last defender and just try to create a little bit of space. He just made his run a little bit too early, and the flag went up.
Christian Cheney, 30 years of age, from Fresno. As we said, he previously played for forward Madison. Also had some time in the USL Championship, playing for Fresno FC and also the Sacramento Republic. Has 60 career goals as a professional. Perez chipping it into the spot for the wingback Burner to track it down. Sorensen does well. It's a corner kick.
Well, you can see they're going to utilize the speed and the pace of Burner on the outside. Great ball played over the top. Sorensen did a good job. He played it out.
Yeah, Burner, one of the new signings for John Bradford out of Martinique. Signed as a free agent after playing the last several years, 8 years in France. Played with Nîmes and also Nice in Ligue 1. As Mikey Maldonado, we mentioned he has 3 assists this season. 2 of them are on set pieces. Very dangerous with his right foot on set pieces. As they come crashing into the box, and it's headed away, I believe, by Cheney. And Maldonado will let it go out of play. But not only is Maldonado dangerous with corner kicks, he's very good at his throw-ins, too. He can lob a great long throw into the box.
And you love the way he whipped that corner kick in with pace, kept it low, and gave the opportunity to get ahead on it.
3 center backs, the target. Cheney able to win it again, and Charlotte can clear and possibly counter. But there's Perez stepping in front of Jauregui. Excellent recovery by the central midfielder, Luis Perez.
Well, great work in the midfield there from Perez. He saw the counterattack coming, and he just got his body in front of the ball. Great way to break up the play.
Luis Perez has played in a lot of different roles for John Bradford the last few years. When they won the League One in 2023, John Bradford's system was more of like a 4-4-2. As we get a free kick, as Anderson's taken down. But since they've moved back into the USL Championship, John Bradford's going with this back 3-4-2-1 formation. And Perez, who is a good deliverer with his left foot on set pieces, has kind of moved around in terms of an attacking midfielder. Today he's playing as a central midfielder.
And Brian, when you go with a formation like that, you have to make sure that you have a great defensive midfielder, in that hole to really break up plays coming through the middle.
And Maldonado does that very well, as he will deliver another set piece. Defensive line just behind the penalty spot. Ripped towards the post, and a quick foul called by Mark Verso, our match referee. Adam Luckhurst was the initial target.
Well, and Maldonado's provided a really good service from the free kick so far. It's just that Charlotte's getting to the ball first and winning that right off the head of Luckhurst right there.
Spielman Trying to target Cheney. What a header by Donovan. Anderson trying to go with the Rabona of a pass. Bit of flair from the St. Vincent and the Grenadines center forward.
Well, I tell you what, Cheney is a handful, but Donovan's doing a great job with the physicality of Cheney right now.
Yeah, Connor Donovan, 29 years of age, out of Fuquay Varina. He was a first-team All-League defender in 2023 with the Republic. They decided to come back home, played a year of college soccer at NC State. Also played at Cardinal Gibbons High School, not far from here in Raleigh, close to the Lenovo Center. Obviously, we want to give our shout-out to the Carolina Hurricanes. They're playing Stanley Cup playoffs tonight against the Devils. Get a bit of double screen action tuning in here on ESPN Plus. In the other game, see the Hurricanes in action tonight against the Devils up at the Prudential Center in Newark. Here's Nga. Alvarez. Here's Omar Sis. Trying to slip it for Cheney. Flag stays down. Cheney goes for the shot. And the Independents on the front foot in the opening 10 minutes.
I can tell you what, Brian, we knew exactly what they were going to do, and Carolina knew what they were going to do too. Cheney was going to stand on that back defender and just get a little bit of space. He was practicing it right before the game, and look at this first touch. Right there, he just opens up. He gets a little bit of space. Mulqueen stays, and he just buries it in the corner.
Christian Cheney getting his first goal here in the Jägermeister Cup. He scored in the weekend game against Tormenta FC. And this is a carbon copy of what happened 10 days ago in the Open Cup. Charlotte getting the opening goal after North Carolina had a couple of chances to score first. And now North Carolina has to play from behind.
Well, North Carolina just needs to settle in. They know they can score goals. They have plenty of talent up front to get back in this game. Just settle in a little bit and don't make mistakes in that back four.
What a pass, too, by Omar Sis as Anderson keeps it in play. Dolabella tried to get a touch to it. It's cleared only as far as Maldonado. Perez. See that bank of 8 in cream jerseys for the Independents trying to stop North Carolina. And it comes back to Malou. Gets away from the goal scorer, Cheney. Now over to Rafa. Here's Washington. Maldonado trying to get away from Njai. Burner. Perez goes down, and North Carolina gets a free kick. The USL on the CBS Sports Network kicks off May with a matchup of NorCal rivals. Oakland Roots take on Sacramento Republic May 4th at 7 p.m. Eastern on the CBS Sports Network. Both CBS and ESPN, the broadcasting partners, as well as 2DN for the Spanish language broadcasts. USL has made some big moves these last few years in terms of more teams, more broadcasting, better broadcasting contracts, as well as the announcement of a new division coming up in the next couple of years. Division 1 coming in, and promotion relegation.
That's when it gets serious.
That's when it gets serious. And yeah, the USL making some big investments, and now they're going to help the clubs in terms of their infrastructure and sustainability to make the USL a very good soccer league for soccer players to learn their craft, grow, move up. And the Division One is going to be at the same, it's sanctioned at the same level as MLS, Division One. Obviously, it's going to take a couple years in terms of the competition to get there, but the recognition is the thing. Romero over to Nga. Actually, Njai, as Washington read the pass well, and now North Carolina gets back on the ball.
I really like what Patrick Berner's doing on this side over here. They need to continue to get him the ball.
They also found Rafa out wide, chips it towards Luckhurst, and a tackle by Sis. He thought it was a fair challenge. Mark Verso thinks otherwise. Free kick for North Carolina in a very advantageous spot, about 22 yards out.
Well, Luckhurst did a really good job of just holding up the ball there, staying and really just taking ground and trying to get around him, and he just gets his leg, and a free kick opportunity here for Carolina.
Adam Luckhurst, the first-year pro out of Santa Barbara, California. Last previously played his college soccer, finished it with the Duke Blue Devils, and was a second-team All-ACC player for Duke. 11 goals, 2 assists. And you see both Maldonado and Perez lining it up. Charlotte Independence going with a 5-man wall for Matt Levy.
If only it was Declan Rice.
Oh my gosh, talking to the Arsenal man here. It's going to be Maldonado off the post. That had eyes for goal, and Maldonado is feeling it right now. He thought he had it.
Wow, that was so close. If you look at this, Maldonado just curls that right into the top corner, right onto the crossbar. He hits it with so much power and so much pace. Goalkeeper's not getting anywhere near that thing. So close there for Carolina.
Yeah, right in front of Matt Levy, and also right in front of some of the fans from the Independents that made the trip from Charlotte to come to Cary. Charlotte Independents nicknamed the Jacks. Here's Berner. Dolabella trying to slip it through. And Levy able to calm things down and gets a quick outlet.
Well, really good work there from Carolina just to play that through ball, to make some nice parallel runs on the outside there. Just couldn't get to that ball in time.
Cheney, good one-touch passing. Jauregui out wide, now looking for numbers. Going one-on-one with Malou. Gets around him, cuts it inside. It's cleared out by Rafa. Nga to Alvarez. 1v1 with Rafa. Whips the ball in, and North Carolina can breathe a sigh of relief. It's still 1-0.
How about that one-touch pass from Cheney? Just a beautiful touch right to play it to the outside of Jauregui to keep that play going, to get things open and put Carolina back on their heels.
Here in the 18th minute, Brian Ware and John Bouyer here on the call from WakeMed Soccer Park up in the perch. The Independents have struck first here in the 2025 Jägermeister Cup here in Group 5. All 38 teams competing in this World Cup style tournament. Games will take place once a month from April to July. Group stage ending July 26th as Rafa trying to track that long ball down from Donovan. Does so. Luckhurst in the box. And a half chance almost yielded an equalizer.
Well, great work there. You could see the run early on from Rafa. He got right behind the defender. It was a little bit far in front of him, but he gets the ball, gets possession, and gets just enough on it to put it back into play for Luckhurst, and he just couldn't find the corner of the net. No power on that.
Mulqueen able to win the ball against Alvarez.
Sometimes as a goalkeeper, you come out like that.
Yeah.
You got to do everything you can to get it.
I was going to say before that last chance by North Carolina, I was going to mention how this tournament is set up. The 6 groups split into 6 geographic regions. You've got the West Coast, most of the teams from California, as well as Spokane Velocity in Washington State. You've got the Southwest region, the Central region, as Dolabella tries to track that long ball down. Luckhurst tangles with Spielman, and is the Duke Blue Devil, former Blue Devil, called for the foul.
Well, I think that was probably 50-50 more than anything, but Luckhurst is going to get the call every time on that one. And but you like to see really trying to get deep in the box here. Another ball played into the middle, and Luckhurst just trying to grab possession. You see that he was grabbing a whole lot of the defender as well.
Nga gets it back to Romero. Anderson trying to start the press, but nobody joined with him. Sorensen switches and dealt with by Rafa. Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the Academy to the big leagues, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. John Bradford barking out orders to his team, trailing 1-0. They've said made 8 changes from their 2-1 defeat at Miami FC, and that was a surprise result. Miami last year had one of the worst seasons, not just in the league, in league history. They only had 11 points all year last year. And if you combine the wins that Miami had in the league, they now have 2, as well as the Open Cup wins they had, which is 2. They have 4 wins, more than all they had last year.
Yeah. Sometimes it's tough to go on the road no matter where you're headed, right?
Yeah, and unfortunately, that loss has kind of given some separation in the Eastern Conference. The top 4 have double-digit points. North Carolina sitting in 5th in a dogfight with some of the other teams in the middle of the East as Anderson takes down Njai. It's going to be a free kick for the Independents. North Carolina going up against the likes of the Charleston, of Pittsburgh, the Indy 11, Birmingham with renewed life. You know, and also teams that also having a bad starts include Rhode Island and Tampa Bay, both with only 1 win to start the season. Good win by Rafa. Dolabella trying to get back on side. It's towards Dolabella and Luckhurst. And Romero gets it clear.
Well, and Dolabella had great positioning right there at the 6-yard box. He just couldn't get the ball played to him.
Jauregui over to Cheney. Slips it by. Jauregui onside. 2 charging in, and Malou blocks it. It's going to be a corner kick for the Independents.
And Charlotte's doing a really good job of playing that ball in the middle, having the defender swarm to the middle of the park, and then playing that ball outside and getting runners in the box. Unfortunately, he just couldn't get it past defender Malou here.
Justin Malou played his college soccer with Clemson, winning the national championship for the Tigers in his graduate year. And Anthony Sorensen will deliver this corner kick towards the post, headed away by Rafa. Njai will track it down. Linking up with Alvarez. Oh, what a ball. Back to Njai. Goes down. Referee points to the spot. Quick decision made by referee Mark Verso. And the Independents have a big chance to get a 2-0 lead as Njai was taken down here in the 24th minute.
Well, you're going to see it here again. A ball just lifted right over the top into the path of Njai. And it's a dangerous ball, but he tries to get his foot on it. And I don't know. I'm going to have to see this one again. Maybe he just clips the back of his foot right there. But the referee points to the spot, and we told you that McQueen is going to have a big night. And here's his moment right here, Brian.
Here is his moment as Perez bit beside himself with the call. Definitely a 50-50 challenge. Could have gone either way. And Luis Alvarez steps up to the spot. He scored 4 goals last season for Charlotte in the USL Cup. In front of the Oak City supporters. And Charlotte has a 2-0 lead inside 25 minutes.
Well, and I don't care what goalkeeper you are. That is a perfect penalty there by Alvarez. He steps up. He has the goalkeeper go the wrong way and just places that in the corner with a little bit of pace. And, you know, I'll tell you what, Charlotte has them rocking on the heels. Look at this. He goes to get the ball. It actually looks like he gets the ball and then maybe gets a little bit of Njai. But, like, I don't know, Brian. That's a little questionable.
There is no VAR system to review it. The call stands by the match referee, and Alvarez punishes North Carolina. A 2-0 lead for the Independents in this Dogwood Derby. And now John Bradford has a lot to think about here in the final stages of this first half, knowing he's got some good options on his bench, including the likes of Rodrigo da Costa, Evan Conway, Colin Martin, Raheem Summersall.
You know, and it seems like North Carolina is playing a good game. They're just taking too long to make anything happen. And Charlotte's doing a really good job in the back of just locking them down.
And so far, Charlotte, whenever they've been able to find their target men, they've been able to punish North Carolina's aggressiveness as Maldonado tries to find Anderson, and there's one back! Flag stayed down, game on!
Well, I gotta say, when you think about Mikey Maldonado, the vision that this young man has, he looks up and he sees Anderson make a diagonal run right behind the defense. And this ball is played perfectly. Anderson doesn't have to do much with it. Look at Maldonado. He looks up. He turns, gets away from the defender, plays it perfectly into the path of Anderson. And Carolina is right back in this game, Brian.
Olex Anderson scored in the Open Cup game 10 days ago. He scores again. And that's what North Carolina needs to have. Olex Anderson getting on the score sheet, the all-time club goal scorer. That is now 39 career goals in North Carolina FC colors for Olex Anderson, or as Dean Linke calls him, our good friend, Golex Anderson.
Golex Anderson, yeah.
Sis is taken down, and we have the first yellow card of the game here in the 28th minute. Things getting a little chippy now as North Carolina trying to fight back from this 2-goal deficit.
When you start to see him wake up here a little bit, Carolina really just winning that ball back in the midfield. Don't give Charlotte too much space in the midfield where they can play that ball closer to Chaney and try to get him into a play.
And that goal gives the fans here at Wake Med Soccer Park something to cheer about, something to fight for. And the fans here, they They've come in good number, and they've got some big games here. Upcoming game, the U.S. Open Cup, coming to Raleigh Tuesday, May 6th. North Carolina will be hosting Charlotte FC at First Horizon Stadium with a 7 p.m. kickoff. You will not want to miss this exhilarating round of 32 tie. Tickets on sale now at northcarolinafc.com/tickets. And Charlotte FC of the MLS, they are first place in the East.
Yeah, they're having a great season, and I'll tell you what, that's going to be a fantastic game here. This place is going to be packed out for that one.
Yeah, Charlotte FC doing really well under their head coach, Dean Smith, who previously managed clubs like Aston Villa and Leicester City in the Premier League. Here's Njai. Perez able to step in front and take it away. And now it comes back to North Carolina.
And those were the balls that Charlotte was winning in the midfield, taking those balls off of Carolina and really kind of being the aggressor. Now you've seen Carolina really pick up the pace.
Donovan, Malou. See the midfielders a little further up as Donovan now tried to get it out wide towards Rafa. Rafa tried to come back to the ball. A little bit of miscommunication there from the captain with the armband tonight.
We saw some good things from Burner down this side of the field early on in the game. I wonder if they'll start to go back to him.
Perez wins it back. Dolabella, one of the prime signings for John Bradford this winter. Trying to keep it alive, but it goes out of play, and a quick throw by the Independent. Sis switches the point of attack. Now here comes Clay Dimmick. Over to Sorensen. And now back to Spielman, and Dimmick back on the ball. Dimmick, a great story for the Charlotte Independents. Missed all of 2023 with a major back operation where he had to have 2 discs completely replaced.
Wow.
And he came back to play in 2024, was named the USL League One Comeback Player of the Year.
That's a fantastic story.
And he is the most experienced player for this Independence team, number 17 in cream.
It's always good to see players come back after they've had, such an injury like that.
Well, we just saw that. If you follow the Stanley Cup playoffs, you saw that with Gabriel Landeskog missing over nearly 3 years with knee injuries. As Rafa chips this in, Dolabella got a header on it. Wasn't able to properly place that header accurately. And Levy can breathe a sigh of relief.
Well, it was a nice cross, just didn't have any pace on it, and Dolabella just couldn't get his head on it, went off the shoulder. An easy save for Levy in the end.
Sis forced backward to Romero. Now Njai in a more advanced position, trying to win the ball against Donovan. And Donovan is down on a bit of a follow-through step by Njai.
I wonder if he just caught him with his elbow as he was coming around. Here you go, see it again. Njai
on the clearance.
Ooh.
Knee to the chest.
Yeah. I have 3 daughters. I take knees to the chest all the time.
Donovan, the local player from Fuquay Varina, called the triangle his home as fans applaud him as he stands up. Looks like he'll be okay. Just a little shock to the system. And we have had quite the battle here in the opening 30-plus minutes here. North Carolina 1, Charlotte 2. here in the opening game of the Jägermeister Cup.
And you think about it, Brian, you know, maybe it was a soft penalty, but it really did wake up Carolina because they were playing a decent game, but they just didn't have that physical ability about them. And now they've kind of taken that up to another level.
Sis switches it to Sorensen. Sorensen with that left-footed cross. It comes off Cheney, and it's going to be a handball off the center forward. That's another dangerous ball delivered by the Independents.
Yeah, and you were talking about it. Look at this ball whipped in, and look, 3 Charlotte jerseys there. 1, 2, 3, just trying to get on that ball, and it just hits Cheney in the arm right there.
You can watch the USL Championship in Spanish on 2DN, the nation's leading Spanish-language sports network. Rhode Island FC debuts their brand new stadium as they host San Antonio FC on May 3rd at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Go to uslchampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings.
When in doubt, put it through their legs, right, Brian?
Brings the ooze from the fans.
Yes, it does.
The old nutmeg. Sis switches it to Nga. Comes back to Romero. Now Njai. Over to Dimmick. Dimmick to Jauregui. Wasn't able to bring it under control, and Burner was trying to look for the run from Anderson. Luckhurst still tracking it down. Forces Spielman to go back to Levy. Njai trying to place it for Sorensen. Mulqueen calls everybody off, says, I got it. He hasn't really had to do much, unfortunately. Cheney going 1v1 with Cheney was going to be hard, and then obviously you're behind the 8 ball when you're facing a penalty kick.
Yeah, he's faced 2 shots, really. One was a penalty and one was a one-on-one with Cheney that, you know, he really had to stay on his line for that.
Rafa tracking it down to the corner and unfortunately could not keep it in. Soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. Dolabella, who's been in an attacking position, now tracking back to get the ball and cycle it. Temperatures in the mid-70s. Maldonado, good run from the central midfielder. Slipping it to Burner. Slips it towards Anderson, is behind him. And now Jauregui gets it out to Sorensen. And Dolabella gets it out of play for a throw.
Well, and you love the way that Mikey Maldonado just really opened up the Charlotte midfield there and just played that ball outside to Burner. He just missed Anderson on that ball.
And if you're Mike Jeffries for the Charlotte Independents, you've got to enjoy what you're seeing from your team, capitalizing on the one big chance, had a couple of other chances with some cutback passes. Mike Jeffries has gotten the Independents to the playoffs 7 times in both the USL Championship and League One. And they've made it to the playoffs for the 5th year in a row. 62-year-old Played his college soccer in the 1980s at Duke, and he was the National Player of the Year during the time when Duke was a powerhouse in the 80s. As Njai steps in on Perez, free kick to North Carolina.
Well, once again, Charlotte's really using the width of the field, trying to use this right side to come down and just play balls in to the 18-yard box. Nobody there yet in these last couple of minutes.
Oleg Sanderson's now come out to a wider position, letting Luckhurst take the spot at the 9. Donovan, Dolabella. Good interconnective passing from North Carolina as Malou gets it to Anderson out wide. Attacking Sorensen. They want a handball, and they get it. And Sis is very fortunate. He is on a yellow card. I think Mark Verso just called it a handball for handball's sake. Yeah. But you see him going to the referees like, should that be a yellow card?
Yeah, he's got to be very careful because he definitely raised his arm as soon as this ball came, and the arm was away from the body, so it could have very easily been a second yellow card. I bet you if he wasn't on a yellow card, that would have been a yellow card.
I think if he raised it just a little more and made it a blatant handball, then I think he would be in big trouble.
And this is even better for Mikey Maldonado because he's got a little bit more distance so he can hit it with pace and keep it low and get it underneath that crossbar.
3-man wall for Matt Levy here in the 40th minute as both Maldonado and Perez step over it. It is going to be Perez! Oh my goodness, what a save by Matt Levy!
Well, he thought it was going to be Mikey curling it one way, and Perez came in, curled it the other way, and a fantastic save from Levy there, just full extension to get that ball out. Great work from Carolina to put pressure on the goalkeeper.
Matt Levy came into Charlotte in 2024 on a tryout, and 1 year later, he's the number one. As the corner kick comes in, it's cleared out only as far as Burner. Njai gets it as far as Rafa. Here's Perez. Center back still up for North Carolina as Perez and Maldonado play 2v2, but Maldonado has to go back to Mulqueen. And unfortunately, the center backs will try to get back to their respective positions. Good track by Perez to Burner. Burner slips it for Anderson, and it's right on Levy. Oh my goodness, that could have been a chance to tie the game at 2.
And that could have been an assist by Mulqueen. Did you see that ball that he played to the outside? Beautiful, beautiful work from the goalkeeper just to see that run coming on the outside. Great work from Burner on the outside. Anderson just hit it right at the goalkeeper, though.
Your North Carolina FC is back at home Friday, May 9th, as we get another look at that chance from Oleg Sanderson.
And Burner does a good job of playing it into space, but Anderson really doesn't have anywhere else to put it except for right at the goalkeeper, Levy.
As you said, your North Carolina FC is back at home Friday, May 9th for Fit for the Pitch night. You can enjoy family-friendly activations throughout the match as the team faces Orange County SC at 7 p.m. You can claim your tickets now at northcarolinafc.com/tickets as Anderson was almost in on that pass.
And you can see what Carolina's doing, really just putting pressure on the back four, really trying to get Anderson just a little touch past that defender and get one-on-one with Levy.
Jauregui. He's trying to work a give and go with Sorensen. Now Burner to Dolabella. Anderson couldn't bring it down. And now Alvarez with pace.
I love how quickly Dolabella played that ball over to Anderson. Before the defense could get set, he tried to put him in and just a little bit too far in front of him.
Dolabella trying to link up with Anderson again.
And Anderson saying, I'm gassed, man. You got to give that to my feet.
Pedro Dolabella, the key big signing for John Bradford this season. Spent the last 2 years with Union Omaha. And in 2024 had a career year, 11 goals and 5 assists in all competitions. He was a finalist for the MVP in League One and was happy to win the double, the Shield and the championship with Union Omaha. And what Dom Casiato is doing in Nebraska is quite a thing to behold. Union Omaha, the only club in USL League One to win 2 championships.
It's not easy to win 1, but to do 2.
Yeah, you can tell that to John Bradford and all the work they put in winning that championship in 2023. Facing the Charlotte Independent side who beat Omaha to get to the final and then to win it in penalties. Gave the boys in blue the bragging rights as Rafa cuts in. Chance blocked by Sis. Good composure by Nga. And what a job by Washington to win it back. As we're in the final minute of normal time in this first half. Perez has a go. Luis Perez never afraid to take those 30-yard shots.
Well, it was a good idea when you get a little bit of space like that, but just didn't hit it clean, and it was always rising over the top of the goal. But really, Charlotte's kind of pulled back a little bit and given them that space right at the top of the 18, and we have talented players that can score from them.
We are awaiting the Town Properties added time. And the fourth officials announced there will be a minimum of 3 minutes of added time presented by Town Properties.
The fourth official has indicated that there will be a minimum of 3 minutes of added time.
Sorensen trying to find Cheney again. Shakes off Malou, but couldn't get by Donovan. And Donovan lost it in the corner.
Boy, and they've seen enough of Cheney. I love how Malou and Donovan really just double-teamed him there. So if he got around Malou, Donovan was there waiting for him.
Independence will try to take their time, get into the locker room with this 2-1 lead. Sorensen trying to weave through traffic. And unfortunately, Maldonado with the failed clearance gives it back to the Independents. Comes back to Spielman. Sorensen looked at the linesman. He's onside. Going 1v1 with Burner. Jauregui spins away from Perez. Cuts it back, and Alvarez's chance is blocked by Donovan. Corner kick to the Independents. What a ball.
Wow, Charlotte almost broke the lines there again. If it weren't for a great tackle there by Donovan, they might be up another goal here. Look at the work, how Reggie plays that ball in. And look at Donovan just stand up and get his body in front of that ball. Great work. Almost
doing the splits. The man with the captain's armband tonight, Connor Donovan. So we're now into the final minute of stoppage time. Sorensen plays it short to Jauregui. Another sharp ball cleared away by Luckhurst. Sis almost took too long to weigh his options. And Njai tangles with Perez. Perez keeps it alive here in the final seconds of stoppage time of this first half. Dolabella switches it to Burner. They may have a chance for one final attack before the halftime whistle. As Burner goes forward, Maldonado to Anderson, tracks it down, couldn't bring it under control.
Again, Mikey Maldonado, a great ball right over there to Anderson. He just couldn't control it.
And that is the halftime whistle. An exciting 45 minutes of football here at First Horizon Stadium. The Independents scoring first from Christian Cheney. They would add a second on a penalty from Luis Alvarez, but Oleg Sanderson got them back in the game, made it 2-1. North Carolina had chances to tie it up, but the Independents hold on to their 2-1 lead. We'll be back with more here from First Horizon Stadium at WakeMed Soccer Park. It's North Carolina 1, Charlotte 2 here in the Jägermeister Cup.
With a family like that to take care of, the two of you have your hands full. At WakeMed Urgent Care, we're everywhere you are, so getting the care they need when they need it couldn't be more convenient. Soccer star? Easy. Kids? Covered. The twins? Done. Aches and pains? Virtual urgent care to the rescue. So download the WakeMed All Access app today and take care of everyone in the family, including the two of you.
It's tough these days to find healthy and fast, but at Alpaca, you'll find both. From our all-natural charcoal-fired chicken, cooked using Peruvian spices, to our made-to-order dishes like arroz chaufa. With sausage, chicken, or completely vegetarian, we have something for every diet. So take a break today. Come in or find us online for catering or to place a pickup order. Family-owned and local. Make it a Peruvian night. Make it Alpaca.
Hey, on the mountain we've got a saying. Get off your... Touchdown! Woo! Mountain Dew!
What a first half it has been at First Horizon Stadium in the opening game of the 2025 USL Jägermeister Cup. North Carolina 1, Charlotte 2 after an enthralling 45 minutes. Thanks for being with us here on ESPN Plus. I'm Brian Ware along with John Bouyer. John, this Dogwood Derby has had everything. Goals, big chances, penalties, controversy. What more could you want?
Yeah, it certainly has, Brian. We asked for goals, and we got goals. And, you know, Cheney started the scoring. He put Carolina back on their heels. And then that penalty, we're still kind of questioning. But Carolina really had to dig in, and they certainly did.
Yeah, North Carolina's going to have their work cut out for them in the second 45 minutes. We mentioned this is a new thing, that both USL Championship and USL League One competing in this Jägermeister Cup, and we have more to explain how this tournament will unfold.
This year, the Jägermeister Cup will feature all 24 clubs from the USL Championship and all 14 clubs from USL League One. The 38 teams are placed in 6 groups divided by region. 4 groups will have 6 teams, 2 groups will have 7 teams. Each club will play 4 matches in group play, 2 at home and 2 away. At the conclusion of the group phase, the 6 group winners and 2 wildcard teams will enter the knockout stage. To set the quarterfinals, the wild cards are locked into slots as away teams. Group winners are drawn for spots 1 through 6, then drawn to fill the matchups from match 1 all the way to match 4. In this stage, wildcard teams cannot play against the winner from their respective groups. In the semifinals, the 4 remaining teams will be drawn randomly, and the last 2 teams standing will be drawn to determine the host for the Jägermeister Cup final.
And here you get a look at the 6 groups. They mentioned it's separated by geographic regions, a chance for rivalries to emerge, older rivalries to come into the fold. And it's such a great thing. Last year, although USL League One teams competed, now you have all 38. And as we look at Group 5, yet again, we mentioned it's kind of the Mid-Atlantic group. You got the teams from the Commonwealth of Kentucky, Lou City, and Lexington, and 2 teams from Virginia, Loudoun, Richmond. You remember playing the Railhawks playing the Kickers?
Yeah, I certainly do. But those are some great times. I really love this tournament, Brian. I mean, it really does give the teams an opportunity that maybe don't see each other or maybe do see each other to really get that challenge going. I just love the way that the tournament's based. I tell you, after watching that video, I know a little bit more about it now.
Well, we'll have more for you on the other side of this break. We'll talk about what's going on in the USL and the upcoming matchups this weekend in the Jägermeister Cup. Next on ESPN+.
Today we went to the beach, and it was totally worth it. Stay 2 nights, get a $50 Best Western gift card.
Whoa, termites can eat a pound of wood a day. Pound of wood a day. Pound of wood a day.
Pound of wood a day.
What's wrong, Daddy? Daddy? You okay?
Keep termites out of your home and your head with our premium guarantee that covers up to $250,000 in new termite damage. Before panic shows up, Terminix it.
3 ice-cold Jägermeister shots, please. Those look warm.
Serve it cold or don't serve it at all. Jägermeister. Damn, that's cold. With a family like that to take care of, the 2 of you have your hands full. At WakeMed Urgent Care, we're everywhere you are, so getting the care they need when they need it couldn't be more convenient. Soccer star? Easy. Kids? Covered. The twins? Done. Aches and pains? Virtual urgent care to the rescue. So download the WakeMed All Access app today and take care of everyone in the family, including the 2 of you.
Back here at First Horizon Stadium, North Carolina 1, Charlotte 2 in Group 5 of the Jägermeister Cup. Brian Ware and John Bouyer here. Let's see what's going on around the USL with some of the news and notes. Loudoun United continuing their historic start. They defeated the Riverhounds 2-1 and have 18 points in their first 7 games, tied for the second most in USL Championship history, and that's a good thing because 3 of the last 4 years, the team with the most points after 7 games win the Players' Shield. Wow. That's going to be big, and Loudoun has made a big step. Another player that's made a big step is new signing Darren Smith. He has scored 2 goals in 2 consecutive games and is tied for the league lead with 6 goals this season, most in the championship. And we mentioned how we love the U.S. Open Cup. Yeah. This is the round. 15 USL clubs still alive. They will all play MLS opposition, and 3 League One teams remain. Union Omaha, the Chattanooga Red Wolves, and the debutant AV Alta FC out of Lancaster, California. We may see some cup sets in a couple weeks. You loved calling those, didn't you?
I did. I remember the LA Galaxy days on Field 2.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, we had some great ones.
Well, there's the Open Cup coming in the forward. Let's talk about the present. What's coming up this weekend? These are the games taking place in the USL Jägermeister Cup. One of the big ones is going to be Naples against Charleston. Naples, another new team. They started the year going unbeaten in their first 9. And the Battery have a dynamic duo in Cal Jennings and M.D. Myers. 8 goals combined between those two forwards. Some of the other key matchups to watch, I like New Mexico against Omaha. We mentioned how Omaha won the league last year. New Mexico was the best team in the Western Conference. That is going to be a big game at the Lab. I expect over 10,000 fans in Albuquerque. Woo. That just means soccer love there, doesn't it? Yeah. And now we head finally to the USL Team of the Week. We mentioned M.D. Myers for the Battery. He is the Player of the Week. And you also have 3 Miami FC players that were instrumental in that win at home against this North Carolina FC side. And you have to applaud Tulsa as well. They had probably one of the best results, a 4-1 win against Las Vegas. That's why Luke Spencer is the Coach of the Week. We'll take one more break. We'll give you all the highlights of this exciting first half in the Jägermeister Cup between North Carolina and Charlotte. Stay tuned.
It's tough these days to find healthy and fast, but at Alpaca, you'll find both. From our all-natural charcoal-fired chicken, cooked using Peruvian spices, to our made-to-order dishes like arroz chaufa, with sausage, chicken, or completely vegetarian, we have something for every diet. So take a break today. Come in or find us online for catering or to place a pickup order. Family owned and local. Make it a Peruvian night. Make it Alpaca.
With a family like that to take care of, the two of you have your hands full. At WakeMed Urgent Care, we're everywhere you are. So getting the care they need when they need it couldn't be more convenient. Soccer star? Easy. Kids? Covered. The twins? Done. Aches and pains? Virtual urgent care to the rescue. So download the WakeMed All Access app today and take care of everyone in the family, including the two of you.
This week on USL All Access, we spoke to Switchbacks captain Matt Mahoney.
The slow start is going to be the fast turnaround for the 2024 title holders. How about Open Cup glory once again for USL Championship teams, the dominating factor and round 3? And last but not least, our final remaining team without a win, Hartford Athletic, finally grabbed 3 points and get themselves into the race in the Eastern Conference.
You don't want to miss it, SiriusXM FC and the USL YouTube page.
Jägermeister is proud to be the presenting sponsor of the USL Jägermeister Cup. Take a shot at glory and celebrate the magic of this exciting tournament all year long. Please drink responsibly. Let's get into the highlights between North Carolina and Charlotte. The Independents have a 2-1 lead, John, and they got out flying in the opening 10 minutes.
Well, they certainly did, and it was Christian Chaney. And if you see this, look at this ball played out wide, and he just buries this in the corner early on, and Charlotte had a great lead just to get things started, kind of put Carolina back on their heels.
And then Charlotte would make it 2, but North Carolina had some chances.
Yeah, they certainly did, and here you see another opportunity where Mikey Maldonado just stings the top of that crossbar. A great opportunity there, but he would come back and provide for a goal for Carolina.
And this was the penalty that was called. It was quickly called by referee Mark Verso. Perez in disbelief on the challenge on Bashir Njai, and up would step Luis Alvarez. Confident penalty, 2-0. Charlotte was rolling, but North Carolina with a quick response. Wow. Who do you call? Rolex Anderson.
As soon as it is, look at Maldonado, creating a little bit of space, look up, play this ball into the path of Anderson, and Anderson does what Anderson does and buries it in the back of the net. And Carolina's right back in this game, and they're lucky not to get 2 or maybe even 3 more.
North Carolina has made a change to start the second half. Number 7, Evan Conway, comes in for Adam Luckhurst as North Carolina FC gets us going here to start the second half. Evan Conway, him and Olex Anderson were the dynamic duo last year. Olex scoring 13 goals in both the league and the playoffs. Evan Conway had 12.
And you like what Luckhurst did in that first half. He really pushed. He tried to get deep into that box, but he just wasn't there to do that final finish of that final ball, if you will.
Dolabella able to track it down. Gets it out wide to Burner. Quick cross towards the sub, Conway and Matt Levy, who had a couple of big saves in that first half. Late to keep it 2-1. Was called to duty immediately.
Especially on that Perez free kick.
That was definitely going to be one of the best saves you will see all weekend here in match week 1 of the Jägermeister Cup. Quick foul and a quick restart by the Charlotte Independents. We mentioned they are currently 5th in the USL League One. Coming off a key, pivotal 3-2 win against South Georgia Tormenta FC. Good way to recover from the stinging 3-1 loss in the Open Cup against this same North Carolina side. As Cheney, flag immediately goes up, offside, just a hair against the 3 center backs of Malou, Donovan, and Washington.
Yeah, and really the center backs on the same page there. They knew as soon as that ball was played over, just to play a high line there and really not let Cheney get behind the defense.
Here's Rafa. Over to Perez, now Maldonado. Perez. Conway was coming to the ball. Too much traffic. And now it comes back to Malou, looking for a run. It comes to Anderson. What a job by Sis to take it away from Conway. And Dolabella able to pick up the pieces. Spielman, actually Dimmick gets in front of Anderson. Conway deflected it. Bit of a scary moment for the Independents here in the opening few minutes of this second half.
Well, and Conway has another speed ever since he stepped on the field. Great work there, just really putting a lot of pressure on the back four for Charlotte.
Conway, the 27-year-old out of Whitefish Bay, Wisconsin. He previously played for the San Diego Loyal and had 21 goals in 69 games in his 2 seasons in Southern California. And San Diego Loyal was part of the USL Championship. Good job by Perez to keep it under control, being under a bit of pressure from Sis. Donovan trying to curl it towards Rafa, but he's too far forward. And the ball is given back to Charlotte here in Group 5. As you saw during the halftime intermission, this is the first of 4 group games. 1 group game a month from April until July. And the winner of the group, as well as the 2 highest scoring teams in terms of points, in terms of the runners-up, will get to the knockout stage. And last year, the wild card entrance was the team that scored the most goals, wherever you were.
Yeah.
But this is a tournament that prides itself on scoring goals, as Anderson tried to get North Carolina a second. Rafa keeps it alive. Conway gets it back to Burner. Good recovery run by Jauregui of Charlotte, able to block the chance. And Alvarez evades trouble, finds Njai in space. Sorensen bringing it forward, gets it out wide to Cheney. Going 1v1 with Malou. Quick pass in, and Washington intercepts it as Jauregui almost got on that ball.
Well, and Alvarez was calling for that on the far post. He was so open. If they would have played that ball early, it would even gone past Jauregui straight to Alvarez, but they just couldn't get it to him, and Jauregui just missed it.
Maldonado over to Washington. Now Rafa with a bit of pace. Corner kick coming for North Carolina. If you can't watch the match, turn on Sirius XM FC 157. North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights. Plus, you hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more. All on Sirius XM FC 157 and the new Sirius XM app. Mentioned the Premier League. I got an Arsenal guy next to me.
Woo.
Tough draw against Palace.
Yeah,
and now Liverpool is in prime position. They need 1 point to win the Premier League, as Malou was in a good bit of space to try to tap that ball in with a lot of traffic.
My mind's focused on the Champions League. Congratulations, Liverpool. Whatever.
Well, they got a big Champions League semifinal coming up. PSG. Washington takes down Alvarez. And a free kick to the Independents as Luis Alvarez a little slow to get up. Alvarez, the Honduras international, had 8 goals and 4 assists in all competitions, both in the league as well as the USL Cup. He led the Independents with 4 goals in the USL Cup. The Independents made it to the semifinals of the 2024 Jägermeister Cup, losing to forward Madison as Sis takes down Perez. Now remember, Sis is on a yellow card. And that was a long whistle from referee Mark Verso, and I think that's a final warning.
Yeah, I think he's in his ear right now and said, hey, I'm really trying to keep you on this field, but you're making it really hard right now. And Sis is just a fighter. He's a battler. He's a physical player, but right here, you just got to let that one go.
And that's who he's been his whole career with the Independents, the 23-year-old out of Senegal. He's been with the club for 3 seasons, was named to the All-League team in 2022 and 2023 in USL League One. Came from Senegal, played his high school soccer at Montverde Academy in Florida. And you wonder if Mike Jeffries has to rein him in by possibly making a change. Dolabella is looking for some movement in the box. Rafa also with the late run.
Well, Conway stayed right there in the middle. You thought Rafa was just going to swing behind him right at that far post. It was a great ball, but just nobody on the run.
And now Mark Verso blowing his whistle again to say no more time wasting. Want to get the game going. It's been an exciting game here. North Carolina 1, Charlotte 2. So we're in the 55th minute. The one thing we did not mention in this Jägermeister Cup, if the game ends in regulation, winner gets 3 points, loser gets 0 points. If the game ends in a draw, we will immediately go to a penalty kick shootout. And that will change the point structure. If you win the PK shootout, you get 2 points. If you lose the PK shootout, you get 1 point. So there's that little extra thing to go into the group standings when the points are tallied after 4 games.
I'm pulling for PKs, Brian.
Well, we mentioned how the last time these two teams played here at First Horizon Stadium in the USL League One final. It did go to penalties as Rafa heads it, crosses it towards Maldonado. And Dimmick able to bring it back for the Independents and clear it.
Well, great run there for Maldonado. Rafa saw him, but Romero did a really good job just staying with Maldonado, and I really think the ball went off of him.
Perez, Conway. Rafa. Washington has come up just off your screen. The center back now playing as a wide man with Rafa coming into the middle. Donovan. Dolabella. Dolabella thinks about it, and Anderson almost with that late slide trying to get a touch.
Well, with the speed of Anderson, you always have a chance, and Dolabella plays this one in with a whole lot of pace, and somehow the lightning speed of Anderson almost gets to this ball. Look at that.
Yeah, he was thinking shot, trying to curl it in, but Anderson reading the ball quite well. Obviously, he's not afraid to, he wants the ball played into space. Sometimes he wants it played at his feet, but always an aggressive goal scorer for John Bradford's side. Perez wins it against Sorensen. Here comes Burner. Burner cuts it in the middle. And Levy able to get his mitts on it before Conway can get a touch.
And you saw Conway, he just hesitated there for a second. Burner kept him on sides, and he played that ball through just a little bit too far in front of Conway.
Ball comes back to Nga. The USL on the CBS Sports Network kicks off May with a matchup of NorCal rivals as Cheney takes out Donovan from underneath. The Oakland Roots will take on the Sacramento Republic May 4th at 7 p.m. Eastern on the CBS Sports Network.
Well, Cheney is a big target up there, and I'll tell you what, his feet just slipped out from under him and came down on Donovan. Look at that.
Yeah, definitely a safety concern there. That's why Mark Verso blew the whistle as Maldonado gets it to Rafa. He's now in a more advanced position. It's cut back to Anderson, and Romero clears it. So does Njai. Perez able to track it down. Bradford up out of his box. Guiding his team, trying to get an equalizer. Charlotte able to withstand the rally.
Really good pressure here from Carolina, just putting a lot of pressure on the back four of Charlotte, trying to get that last and final touch. They've done a good job of getting some balls into space, but are just lacking on that final ball.
Patrick Burner, the left wing back. I mentioned he comes from Martinique, and he has had 16 caps for his country and has played in both the 2021 and 2023 CONCACAF Gold Cup. It's going to be a lot of busy soccer during the summer here in America. Not just with the CONCACAF Gold Cup, but also the FIFA Club World Cup.
I can't keep track of all of them anymore.
I know it's going to be a big hassle for some of these European sides. I'm thinking about Real Madrid, right, Manchester City, Chelsea, who are coming over for the summer and still competing. They don't have a break yet after their seasons are over in England and Spain. Facing off against some of the best teams around the world as Conway trying to slip it to Burner. Two Charlotte players going down as now play is stopped.
Yeah, and it looked like just a collision there, but Conway, just a nice little ball. Burner, I just love what he's doing on the outside of the field, really just pulling the defender out with him, creating space in the middle of the field. And Conway tries to get that ball back to Burner, and they did a good job of breaking it up.
Rafa heads into Dolabella. The two Brazilians working, trying to find Anderson. And there is Nick Spielman, the all-league defender, doing his job, preventing North Carolina from getting a big chance.
Well, and if Spielman doesn't take that run with Anderson, this game is tied. What a fantastic run. What fantastic vision from Dolabella. But great work by Spielman to cut that ball off.
Nick Spielman playing as a second-team all-league defender in USL League One last year, had 173 clearances in 31 games, and this ball is going to be called back as referee Mark Verso stopped play before the corner kick was delivered, advising against the pushing and shoving in the box. Here in the 62nd minute, Luis Perez will get another chance against Matt Levy and this Charlotte Independence defense. Can they get a set piece here? Towards the 6. Charlotte does its job. Rafa keeps it alive. Ball stuck underneath Maldonado. Now trying to get some space against Jauregui. Trying to find Conway, and he just mishit it, and Romero clears it.
But I'll tell you, every time Mikey Maldonado takes a defender on one-on-one, something special happens for Carolina. He's got to push the issue just a little bit more, pull the defender towards him, open up space for other people. Great work by the midfielder.
Yeah, we mentioned Mikey Maldonado in the open. Now has 4 assists on the season, assisting that Olex Anderson goal, and now he comes to deliver a long throw towards Conway. And Cheney able to meet it. Second ball. Cleared out. North Carolina applying a lot of pressure here as they look for that equalizer. Oh, they lose Perez. Perez with a chance! And it nutmegged a defender going towards the short side.
Well, that thing had some pace on it. Perez saw that near post. It was just a little bit open. He just missed it. Goalkeeper knew, Levy, that was going wide.
eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play, and you can download it now. North Carolina 1, Charlotte 2. Here in the opening game of the 2025 Jägermeister Cup, the first of 76 games in the group stage across the 6 regional groups. Nga, Jauregui, good block by Perez, forces a throw.
Boy, and Perez is doing it on both sides of the ball. The shot on the other side and all the way back on the defense there just to break that ball up.
And we mentioned in the open how Charlotte didn't make too many changes from their win on Sunday. Now you got to look down the roster, see who can I call up to try to preserve this victory, as Cheney almost got around Maldonado. Perez pulled back by Jauregui. And advantage was played for a second, and now it's going to be pulled back as the winger from Sacramento is going to go into the book on that tug of Luis Perez's jersey.
Yeah, he had a whole lot of blue jersey there when they made the separation. You knew it. Look at this. Perez is off to the races. Jauregui says, nope, not so fast.
Rafael Jauregui out of Sacramento, California, came to the Independence after being with the Sacramento Republic the last 5 seasons. Signed a USL Academy contract at 15 years old to train with the first team when he had the chance. Here comes Donovan. Over to Rafa. Rafa trying to get by Nga. It's kept alive. Perez in the middle. Conway trying to link up with Dolabella. Keeps it alive, though, as Charlotte couldn't clear it. Rafa with a sharp cross. Headed away by Spielman. And a big collision between Njai and Washington took the worst of it. As referee Mark Verso will stop play here in the 66th minute for concern for the center back for North Carolina, Bryce Washington.
Yeah, and it was a 50-50 ball. Both of them went in pretty hard for it. Here you see the ball just pop up. And just a collision sends Washington to the ground.
And last season, Washington did suffer an injury to his face. He did wear at times a protective mask in 2024. Washington out of Atlanta, Georgia, played his college soccer with both Rutgers and with the Pitt Panthers, who have become a powerhouse in college soccer. Helped the Panthers get to the College Cup for the first time in program history during the COVID season. Dean Linke and I had the privilege of calling matches here at Wake Med Soccer Park when they decided to bring all the teams and all the tournament here in one site in the state of North Carolina. And after a quick restart, here comes North Carolina FC as Nick Spielman prevents Olex Anderson from getting a chance.
Well, they've had time and chance after chance, and Spielman has closed the door every time here in the second half. He has really just been a shadow for Olex Anderson here in the second half.
Spielman in his third season with the Independents. Defending this long throw, it's towards Donovan. And Romero clears it. And Alvarez is taken down, and this will probably give a chance for the Independents to bring in some substitutions. Just mentioned them earlier. Number 80, Chris Jaime, as well as number 18, Alfredo Midense. And Midense is a big player coming to the Independents on loan from Lexington SC. Midense last year played with Central Valley Fuego and was named the USL League One Young Player of the Year. And Midense is going to come in for Nga. And Jeffries, trying to keep things 11v11, takes out Omar Sis. Ball sent in by Romero. Good trap by Cheney. Donovan able to meet him. And Njai keeps it alive for Charlotte. In terms of the changes, you now see Sorensen, number 13, come into the middle as Jaime goes out wide. And Midense playing a little further forward. Alvarez. Njai. Alvarez able to keep it alive for the Independents. Back to Spielman. Now North Carolina can press up. Long ball over the top towards Cheney. Flag stayed down. Mulqueen plays it. Coming out of his goal. And now Maldonado trying to get it to Anderson. What a stop by Romero. And a big collision between two and Cream. Conway picks up the pieces. Finds Anderson. Flag stays down. Combination play didn't work out.
Well, two opportunities on both sides. I'll tell you what, when Cheney got behind Donovan back there, it looked dangerous. Mulqueen did a good job to come out, and then you see Carolina very quickly on the counterattack, but just couldn't get that final pass right.
Player down is Javen Romero, center back who is in his first season with the Independents. Played for both the Guadalajara U23 team down in Mexico, as well as playing for the LAFC Academy. And it looks like North Carolina is going to be making some changes soon. Rodrigo da Costa and Jaden Cervania. And if I'm Mike Jeffries, I'm keeping an eye on da Costa because he was the hero, scoring 2 goals, 2 back-breaking goals to give North Carolina the lead in that Open Cup game. As Rafa trying to link up with Anderson, he hesitated on his run, now goes down, and I think it's going to be called for a dive. Referee Mark Verso took a second and decided to blow his whistle and call the foul on Anderson for simulation.
Well, he wasn't that close to that one, but he immediately ran over to Anderson and lifted the flag. Here we're going to see it. Is there a collision there? I don't know.
Feels more that he's searching for contact. Yeah. As you saw on that pass, he kind of stopped his run and then accelerated, thinking that he had a chance to win it back, and goes down pretty easily.
Yeah, I think the referee got that one right.
North Carolina will be making their changes as Jaden Cervania will come in for Patrick Berner. And da Costa will come in for Olex Anderson. So Conway will now move to the middle at the 9. And you have Dolabella and da Costa as the attacking 10s.
Substitution for NCFC in the 70th.
There is still time to purchase your 2025 season tickets. As the flag is up for offsides, member perks include free parking, 20% off all merch, exclusive giveaways, and more. Visit northcarolinafc.com/season tickets for more information.
And that is a battle going on back there with Cheney and Donovan. And Cheney had the upper hand there, but just a step offside, Brian.
Perez dribbles into the middle, over towards Dolabella. Ball comes back to Perez, gets it out to Cervania for his first touch. Little heavy, and gives it away, and a big collision between Cervania and Njai afterwards. Bashir Njai took the brunt of that challenge. And it's his foul, when he was fouled in the box, that led to the penalty kick. That's the difference in this game between North Carolina and Charlotte in this Dogwood Derby, the 21st edition of the Dogwood Derby. North Carolina leads the series 9 wins against Charlotte's 8. And there have been 3 draws. The first 3 matches back in 2015, 16, and 17 were all in the U.S. Open Cup. Donovan in an advanced position. Ball cleared back to Perez, spinning away from Njai. Now Donovan. Perez now back to Maldonado.
Perez is so good with the ball at his feet, and so just that first touch right there, he just has great vision just to look up and play that ball.
Cervania. Dolabella trying to switch it to Donovan. Keeps it in play, has Rafa as support. They play a 2v1. Donovan goes alone, and it will go out of play for a goal kick. Seemed like Donovan was running on fumes on that last run.
Well,
it's like I'm a defensive player, not an offensive player.
Well, I was surprised because he had Rafa right behind him. I thought he was going to take the defender down the line and then just play that ball back to Rafa. But instead he chose to keep it to himself and just really just gave away another goal kick.
Malou wins the free header. And Dolabella able to control it. Over to Conway. Conway's having a hard time with the ball at his feet. Had a couple of heavy touches since he's come on into the second half. Alvarez to Midense. Midense loves to find teammates. He led USL League One in assists last season. Romero, Sorensen. And now the Independents bring it back to Spielman. Now Alvarez. Alvarez trying to slip it through. And Mulqueen able to read the situation and keep the ball in the box.
Yeah, you start sliding and you just remember where that line is.
Yes, you do. You can watch the USL Championship in Spanish on 2DN, the nation's leading Spanish language sports network. Rhode Island FC debuts their brand new stadium as they host San Antonio FC on May 3rd at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Go to uslchampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. Again, if this game does end in a draw, if North Carolina finds an equalizer and it stays tied after 90, we will go to a penalty shootout. Here is Rafa. Cross too strong under the pressure of Romero, closing him down.
Again, you like to see that run from Rafa, take that defender on, but you got DaCosta right behind you. Lay that ball back and let him get a shot on goal.
Actually, they said it was last touched by Charlotte. So it's going to be a throw from Mikey Maldonado as the center backs move forward in terms of Malou and Donovan. Long throw, Donovan battling Cheney. Perez brings it under control to Conway. Donovan was still in the way on the floor. He has to go out wide to Maldonado. Cervania. Malou, and the flag quickly is up as Dolabella redirected it to the center of the box.
Well, that ball was just pinging around in there. Dolabella played it into the space for Malou. Unfortunately, he was offsides, but good work there from Carolina attacking with numbers.
Justin Malou scored a couple of goals last season in his first year with the club. One was against Orange County, who is one of North Carolina FC's next opponents here at First Horizon Stadium. The other was in the Open Cup, a big equalizer as Conway finds Dolabella, but he's flagged for offside.
Well, hey, Matt Levy didn't know that, and I'll tell you what, he just made a heck of a save.
As they say, play to the whistle, but there was also that slight hesitation from the defense. You saw the quick hands up. And now time is against the home team as we have entered the 80th minute here at First Horizon Stadium.
This is where Charlotte is just going to batten down the hatches and really do everything they possibly can to hold on to this win. And Carolina is really going to have to be the aggressor and push everything up the field.
Yeah, Charlotte has not really tested this North Carolina defense here in the second half. It's almost been all one way, but here's a chance for Charlotte if Alvarez can keep it in. He does. Cuts it to Cheney. What a block by Donovan. Second block by the captain. Connor Donovan has been everywhere in the box stopping chances from the Independents.
Well, and it was two fantastic blocks. He made the first block, and then he got up, and then made the second block. Great work from Donovan.
And now some pushing and shoving. After Midense was taken down, Cervania and Njai. Referee Mark Verso trying to calm things down here. As Connor Donovan, the captain, had two big stops for North Carolina.
And look at this. This is just absolutely perfect. Look at the positioning for Donovan.
And then after the whistle, you saw Cervania and Njai tussling with each other. Cooler heads looking to prevail, needing to prevail because didn't want any forward head motions in front of the officials, which could definitely yield red cards. As Luis Alvarez is over the ball for the Independents.
Carolina's got to be careful. Cheney's still out there, and he is a big target.
North Carolina FC looking to make another substitution with Tristan Hodge. Mark Verso's now ready to get things going. Alvarez chips it into the box. Headed away by Malou, kept alive by Romero. And Maldonado's touch gives it away to the Independents again. Quick throw. Charlotte looking to keep the ball here. Get some good attack. Cheney and Njai almost colliding. Flag comes up for offside.
Yeah, they've done that a couple of times tonight. Njai and Cheney going for the exact same ball, the exact same position.
Tristan Hodge now going to come in for North Carolina. He will come in for the captain, Connor Donovan, who has had a monumental defensive effort for North Carolina FC. I could count probably 3 or 4 big blocks, using the entire frame of his body to keep it 2-1.
And especially those last two, back-to-back consecutive.
So now Bryce Washington will move into the center. Hodge will play at the left, center back. Malou as right center back. Maldonado looking towards Cervania on his run, trying to keep it alive, gets a corner kick. Jaden Cervania has done really well in terms of the minutes that he's getting as Ezra Armstrong's trying to recover from his injury.
Charlotte's just doing a really good job right now, Brian, of just being sound on defense, not making any mistakes, not letting the ball get behind them, and winning those 50-50 balls.
Mikey Maldonado on the ball on this corner kick. It's a sharp one in the box, and Hodge just missed it. Several bodies were there for North Carolina FC.
Said another great kick whipped in there.
And it was Dolabella battling Njai.
Just missing that final touch.
You can join us tomorrow night here at First Horizon Stadium for Get Out, Be Courageous night as the North Carolina Courage take on the Kansas City Current in the NWSL at home. Tickets are available at nccourage.com/tickets. And that's going to be a big game. We want all the fans to come out to First Horizon Stadium. The Courage still looking for their first win of the season. They have only 1 point and are unfortunately dead last in the league. Kansas City Current, meanwhile, are top. They are a perfect 5 for 5. And one of the players that this North Carolina Courage side, the fans love, is now playing for Kansas City, the Brazilian Debinha.
Right.
And the North Carolina Courage made some big news earlier this week as they announced a new minority owner. Lauren Holiday, the former U.S. Women's International and World Cup champion, is joining the ownership group for the North Carolina Courage. Her and her husband, Drew Holiday, the NBA player for both the Milwaukee Bucks and currently the Boston Celtics. And now she's going to have some impact with the club for the Courage this season and next. So we're proud to have Lauren Holiday as part of the ownership under the leadership of Steve Malik. A couple of professional tennis players are a part of the ownership group, including Naomi Osaka and Ons Jabeur. As that's a heavy challenge by Maldonado. Stud showing, and it's a quick red card. An aggressive challenge by Mikey Maldonado here in the 87th minute.
That's the only thing that couldn't have happened in this moment for Carolina to get back in this game. He's had such a great game tonight, Brian. On the offensive side, on the defensive side, but here he just makes a bad play.
And it's right in front of referee Mark Verso. The high boot into the feet of Luis Alvarez, and he's been sent off here in the 87th minute. And North Carolina will have to finish the game with 10 as Luis Alvarez is getting some treatment. And now John Bradford has a lot of work in front of him. Now in terms of the red card, Maldonado will easily be suspended for the next Jägermeister Cup game, which is at the end of May when they travel to Richmond. The red cards in the Cup do not apply to the league campaign unless it's under severe circumstances. As Alvarez now getting up to his feet.
Yeah, here we're going to see it again, and Alvarez, some quick feet. Mikey Maldonado just slides in just a little high on that ankle right there, and right in front of the referee, as you mentioned, Brian. He did not hesitate, straight red.
And there was nothing malicious in the challenge. He was just trying to win the ball. It's just that factor of being late to the ball. And you can see he's in immense pain, not putting very minimal weight on that right ankle. As Charlotte will make some changes here in the 89th minute. As Alvarez will come out and Nathan Gray, the 17-year-old, will come in. As well as number 15, Rafael Jauregui, comes out. And number 26, Suebu Maru, the Cameroonian, will come in as Alvarez is directly going to the locker room. Mike Jeffries looking at his watch, knowing that there's only a few minutes left to possibly get all 3 points and get some revenge on North Carolina after the home team beat the Independents in Charlotte in the Open Cup 10 days ago. They may be getting their revenge here in the opening game of the Jägermeister Cup. As we are into the 90th minute, and we expect that there will be an ample amount of stoppage time, but North Carolina has to finish the game with 10.
Well, and it really looked like Carolina was going to be able to get back in this game. They had a good foot. They really should have scored that second goal at the end of the first half, and they just couldn't find the back of the net. And then Charlotte's just kind of locked down on defense, and this red card, though, is going to be challenging for them to get anything out of this.
Well, they haven't been able to find their strikers in the best positions, with the ball to their feet in the box. Perez gets it out wide to Hodge. Excellent defense by Midense. Fourth official has registered that there will be a minimum of 7 minutes of added time, and that added time is presented by Town Properties.
Well, they certainly have time, Brian, to get back in this game, but is it just too much with a man down?
Charlotte, who is not shown, they've been flagged for offsides a lot here in this second half. They haven't really tested Trevor Mulqueen a ton. They had a couple chances. And it's going to be a throw deep in the corner as the Independents will take their time. The time of time wasting. But obviously referee earlier in the half, Mark Verso, said, let's calm things down with the time wasting. He gave a final warning. And you see, he's saying, let's go.
Yeah, and it's got to be so frustrating to be on the other side of it, just knowing that they're just wasting time to let that clock go down.
I thought it was a throw. It's actually been called a corner kick. And Malou able to win the ball against Maru. Senegalese defender and the Cameroonian attacker. North Carolina has to find players in space.
And the one guy that wasn't afraid to take people on one-on-one, Mikey Maldonado, is unfortunately no longer on the pitch.
Rafa gives it away. A poor pass by Maru. Dolabella to DaCosta. DaCosta trying to put it in a spot for Conway to track down, but Sorensen takes a shoulder challenge. Sean Bradford furious, yelling at the assistant linesman if there was a foul. North Carolina keeps it alive. DaCosta. And Levy able to swallow it. And make the save.
I didn't see the shoulder challenge, but it seems like the rest of them. Here we go.
Here's the initial, and it looked like it may have been outside the box, but should that have been whistled for a free kick?
Yeah, I don't know. With this late in the game, I just don't think you're going to get that kind of call, but I'll tell you what, Charlotte's got to be careful.
They got to be careful because North Carolina is definitely going to force the issue when given the opportunity, as we're in the 3rd minute of extra time. Perez slips it to Rafa, but he's offside.
Again, just playing that. Here you're going to see the shot. DaCosta just gets a little bit of space, opens up, and tries to curl that in the corner, but just not enough pace on it.
Not enough pace, not enough curl. As North Carolina FC is looking for something, anything, to get that equalizer and at least get a point. And now yellow cards come out against the goalkeeper, Matt Levy, for time wasting. North Carolina trying all that they can to get 1 or 2 more opportunities as Cheney with the challenge on Rafa, and Cheney is going to go into the book.
Well, now the tackles are flying in. I'll tell you what, both coaches are super vocal about that. Cheney just came in with the tackle, but it looks like he followed through after the tackle, and here you're going to see it.
Yeah, it's definitely wasn't, studs into the body, but it's definitely a foul, definitely a yellow card. As Charlotte is doing everything they can to keep this a 2-1 lead. Sorensen headed it back, Levy able to corral it. North Carolina has been the better against Charlotte in the last 3 meetings all time, including the 2023 USL League One final. If this result holds, the Dogwood Derby would be even, 9 wins apiece. Perez fakes the pass to Rafa, now finds Rafa. Quick ball in, but he mishit it. Rafa beside himself, knowing he should have done better with that ball.
You could see what he was trying to do. He had Conway and DaCosta right there at the top of the 6th, but the ball just got away from him.
Head coach Mike Jeffries urging him on to get to the finish line. We're in the 6th minute of added time. Coaching in his 318th game as head coach of the Independents, as Sorensen wins the ball, taken down from behind by Perez. Free kick to Charlotte. And maybe some afterwards. Referee Mark Verso coming out, trying to calm things down. Obviously with North Carolina down a man.
Yeah, here you see it. He just gets pulled back right here. It's clipped.
Clipped from behind. It is a foul, but it seemed that might have been a little bit of talking afterwards.
And Charlotte's smart. They'll just kick this one back and just try to walk this clock out.
So we're in the final minute of added time. Don't know how much more will be added. Cheney and Midense step over the ball, and it is passed out wide to Sorensen, who will take it to the corner. Corner kick. We have had the 7 minutes. All eyes will now be on Mark Verso's whistle, and that is it. It is full time. The Charlotte Independents get revenge on North Carolina FC here in the Jägermeister Cup.
Well, we said that they had revenge on their mind. They came in, they did the job, they got 2 early goals, and then they battened down the hatches, played great defense, and just Carolina couldn't get it done with the last ball.
The opening game of the Jägermeister Cup was one to behold in this Dogwood Derby. We will take one final break and give you the highlights of this Charlotte Independence win.
With a family like that to take care of, the 2 of you have your hands full. At WakeMed Urgent Care, we're everywhere you are, so getting the care they need when they need it couldn't be more convenient. Soccer star? Easy. Kids? Covered. The twins? Done. Aches and pains? Virtual urgent care to the rescue. So download the WakeMed All Access app today and take care of everyone in the family, including the 2 of you.
10 days ago, North Carolina FC beat the Independents 3-1 in the Open Cup. Tonight in the Jägermeister Cup, the Independents get their revenge. A 2-1 win here at First Horizon Stadium. Brian Ware along with John Bouye. John, let's get to the highlights of how this game unfolded. All the goals were scored in the first half, and Christian Cheney was a problem for North Carolina.
Yeah, he certainly was. And here you see just a great first touch, opens things up and buries the ball past Mulqueen. That got Charlotte started off early, but early on they weren't done yet.
Yeah, Christian Cheney has been a menace in USL League One the last couple of seasons, and then they were able to get a second on this foul by Luis Perez.
Yeah, and the penalty, calls the penalty there. You know, it looked a little bit like he might have clipped the back of his leg, but instantly goes for the penalty, and he steps up and buries another one past Mulqueen, and it looked like Carolina was in trouble.
Yeah, Luis Alvarez getting a goal, but 2 minutes later, Mikey Maldonado finding Oleg Sanderson. This was a dime.
And look at the space. Mikey Maldonado fires it into Anderson. Anderson just places it past Matt Levy, and Carolina's right back in this game, and you think they have all of it.
North Carolina searching for that equalizer, but they went down to 10 after the Maldonado red card late. You got to look at the stats. North Carolina did so much trying to get that equalizer with shots on target, possession. The Independence defense stood firm.
They certainly did, and it was the final ball. They just couldn't get the final ball right tonight for that second and third goal.
It's going to be a tough situation for North Carolina FC. They've got a tough game on the road at Pittsburgh, but they will take on another Charlotte team, Charlotte FC, in the Open Cup. Tickets are available for that game on May 6th. For Paul Beam, our director, for Kyle Lang, our producer, and our entire crew, for my man, the beautiful man, Jean Bouillet, I'm Brian Ware saying thanks again for watching this presentation of the Jägermeister Cup, where the final score is North Carolina 1, Charlotte Independence 2.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.